Our next guests are a couple of serious power players in the San Diego real estate market. Please welcome to the show, Libby Rogers and Greg May. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, great to have you here. So Libby, you're a real estate expert. Greg, you're the CEO of a mortgage company. Here today to tell us about what I think is one of the best kept secrets in the industry, not just for people in the industry, but for consumers as well. It's called Agents Capital. Libby, something you've been using in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Greg, it was kind of his mastermind. And
He's the mastermind. That's why we have him here.
That's scary.
he was, appealing to what our needs are as realtors and finding that a lot of people may want to maximize their sale price.
Right.
But may not have resources
to
do so. And so we could be helpful to an extent, but not to the degree of, coming up with tens of thousands of dollars or even thousands of dollars to do renovation work that could increase their sale price.
Right, and a lot of people don't know about this, Greg, but you came up with this brilliant idea to do this for your mortgage company so that you could help home sellers, help real estate agents, and ultimately help your clients and your company.
I'm glad you just called me brilliant because I say that around the house all the time. My wife, it's always a joke in our house, so when she sees this, it's going to be great. It really is a great idea, but we fell into it accidentally, so I can take no credit for any brilliance there. As a home flipper and real estate investor, as you know, the market was pretty booming for us at some time a couple of years ago. And then that market dried up. So we had this private equity fund. We're sitting there with all this capital, nothing to do with it. And then we realized there are tens of thousands of properties in San Diego County who need work. So the prices of houses have come up because of all the renovations and all the flips that were going on. And now that market doesn't exist. But yet everyone in the neighborhood still thinks their house worth a move-in ready property, but that's just not the case. So what we did was we created a company to help realtors like Libby who understand that process and understand that they can help put tens of thousands of dollars in consumers' pockets, but they have to do, and a lot of times, a lot of things to the property to make it worth that high value. So we've deployed capital on jobs anywhere from $9,000 to just putting in new appliances to $175,000 with total remodels.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, the only thing we look at is how can we put more money in the end user, in the seller's pocket. So Libby gets that. Not all agents out there get that. Not all home sellers get it. But it's a very fast process because we have teams and teams of flippers that we've been working with, contractors who are now not as busy as they used to be, but they have a lot of guys on their own team that are in-house, so they can go in, they can do it in 3 to 4 weeks, put that house back on the market, and in one weekend of open houses, we're seeing 11, 12, 13 different offers on these properties.
So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have Libby give us an example of one that she's using this for right now and how that works, and then I want Greg to tell us, how does this actually work? Let's say I want to use the service that Agents Capital provides. So Libby, give us an examable of one that you're working on right now using Agents Capital.
I'll give you an example of one that's probably a little bit extraordinary, but it will give a really good, I do too. I think that's great. I have some clients who have a home that's in the shy of $3 million category, and it needs, it's actually brilliant, but has like your typical needs. It's got the old colors, needs some updating with colors and with carpeting that's worn, and then the landscape on the big acre spread is getting a little tired. So things most buyers don't like to see in a property that they're paying an exorbitant large sum of money for. So we had listed it, no buyers, got it in escrow, fell out of escrow, and the long story short, we have it listed in the 2.2 to 2.4 realm with no buyers because it needs paint and carpet.
Do you have an appraisal on the property, or have any idea what do you think it's worth?
The appraisal value $2.8 million with a model match that sold across the street at 3.2 that had some ocean view. So fabulous, fabulous property. In steps Greg. We are going to go ahead and have our clients move, do the carpet, the paint, and do a beautiful staging job. And it will cost approximately $60,000. And we expect to get our 2.8 appraised value.
So you have it listed for 2.2 to 2.4, no takers, no offers in that range.
No takers.
You think by just putting the $60,000 into it that you'll get the 2.8 range?
Absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property, but like most all of the properties, there's stains on the outside of the house. Landscaping has died or just not been taken care of. Paint colors were to the owner's liking, right? So they were very specific. They're not generic. They're not what a buyer wants to see when they walk in. They want to be wowed, not, ooh, I don't like that paint. I don't like that carpet. The house needs this, it needs that. When you're in that kind of price range, it needs to be move-in ready. That's the difference. We make them move-in ready that will appeal to every buyer that walks in the door.
It's
Again,
amazing.
it's not about what we like. You make that change from what the homeowner likes to what a buyer, all buyers will like. You got a winner.
Buyers want a house, not a project. In Southern California especially.
Yeah.
Very plug and play and beautiful, and they will pay for it.
They will, and we've seen that. And it's funny because a lot of times you'll see houses stay in the market, even in a low inventory environment, even in an environment where the market's been going up for years straight now, you'll still see where buyers are very picky.
Absolutely.
Even though there aren't that many homes out there, they're still very picky. It's because of the internet and all these different ways to find properties and get notifications. They've got ways that they can sit back and go, I'm gonna wait till one blows me away. Then I'm gonna go march at it full speed. And by putting that little extra cash into a property like this, and I say little, $60,000 because we're talking about a $2 million basis here, $2 to $3 million basis. 60 grand, that's nothing, in comparison to what you're gonna gain. In this case, at least 400,000 to 600,000 in return.
Small.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just nuts.
And that is an extraordinary example. We have many properties in the 250, 400 range that we put 20, 30, 40,000 in, and now they're in the 500,000 range. So it's all across the board. Really, truly in San Diego, there's just opportunity for sellers to walk away with tens of thousands of extra dollars if they just put the money in the property.
Okay, Greg, you've got me sold now. It makes sense. I get it. You want to provide the cash, but there's got to be something in it for you, okay? I'm the home seller. Do I have to pay you back 1.5 times? Do I have points here? What is it that I have to do as the home seller in order to get that opportunity to use agent's capital?
So the process works is that an agent like Libby will contact us, and again, we don't work with every agent because all agents understand this, and I don't have a lot of time to be dragged out on properties that when the agent doesn't get it and the seller doesn't get it, then it's a waste of time. So when that happens and we have a relationship like we have with Libby, she understands and knows what the property needs to get it sold top dollar. So a lot of my work is done for me. So we'll meet and confer on the property, and we both agree on what we think it's worth as it sits today. And then we say, okay, if we fully rehab the property, what would it be worth after we're finished with that? And so somewhere in between is the right number, right? So if it's a 400 today and we think if it's fully there, we can get 500 for it. So if we put 100 in the property, that's a push for the seller. And it makes no sense to do it. So we're not in the process of fixing up houses just for the sake of fixing up houses. If the seller can't walk away with additional money in their pocket over selling it today, then there's no point in doing it. So in that kind of scenario, a 60 or 50 number would kind of come into play, and then we start backwards. Okay, this house needs 10 things. How many of them can we get in that 50 so that we can still get it sold for top dollar and let the seller walk away with more cash? And so then once we agree on that number, say it's 50, our fees at Agents Capital are no points, no interest. For 120 days, we charge a flat 10% management fee on the job. So if it's 50,000 we're deploying in capital, then it's 5,000 to us as our fee, so 55 total, and that 55 gets the seller an extra 30, 40 in their pocket. So I think it's a pretty good rub to spend $5,000 actually to get an extra 20, 30, 40 on the back end. And we don't get paid a dime until the house sells and it all comes out of escrow.
And see, that's the huge part here with regard to that, because it's obviously a very small fee for someone that not have to have really any skin in the game themselves. You're taking care of everything for them.
No skin in the game.
No skin, just, hey, all right, we're gonna do a quick lien and then that'll get paid off through closing and boom, everybody's paid off.
Libby's team's expertise, my team's expertise, and we come in and take care of that for you.
And the interests are aligned. So not only do you have experts on both sides, but everybody's interest is in the same, pointing in the same direction. We want to get this house sold for top dollar with as little expense as possible. It's just a great situation.
And so you asked what the catch was. So obviously that money that we're making at Agents Capital is not going to get us wealthy. But what we're looking at is a more longer term play, because since we do own a mortgage company, I'm looking for relationships with quality realtors. And so I may not get every Agents Capital deal and I may not get all their deals, but Agents Capital is helping us develop relationships with quality realtors. And that's really the long-term play for us. So if we can help a few people make a few dollars selling their houses, and in the turn what is in it for me, agent relationships. So if this is a tool I can bring to the market to help the agents get more listings, sell their properties for more, and help their buyers and their sellers, we're happy to do it, because in the end, I see a long-term relationship with Libby and many agents like Libby.
Fantastic stuff. And Libby, have you ever heard of anything like this? Because I've never heard of anything like this before in the marketplace.
I've been in business for 19 years, and I'm here to say that I don't believe it exists, and so it's a pretty powerful tool to help someone grow their down payment without them having to empty out their savings account, save more, buy something smaller,
Getting
less.
over their heads, how about, on fixing up a house? I mean, how often does that happen?
Right.
Quite a few times. I've seen some war zones.
How many times does that happen? I mean, you're protecting them and insulating them from everything that is bad about doing something like that. It's just great stuff. And thank you guys so much for being here and sharing this, what I continue to call the best kept secret in the San Diego real estate marketplace. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks
so much.
Appreciate your time. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Very difficult show to win. He's a good friend of mine and a family man who actually lives right there in Del Cerro. So he knows the market inside and out and is a big part of the community. If you need someone that you can trust for the